welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Let's get straight to it.
Welcome to Dairy Queen. Are you craving my creamy soft serve? Hey, come inside and I'll take real good care of you. I made this just for you. I can't call it ice cream because technically it's not, but it sure tastes like it, so who cares? Here you go, sweetie pie. Hey, who wants a blizzard? The carrageenan makes it sticky so it doesn't fall out.
These soft serve machines are great. You just pour this liquid in and it magically turns into a cold, frozen treat that none of you can resist.
Surprise! We have more than soft serve. Who doesn't want a hot, slippery chili dog in their mouth? It feels so good in here, baby. Don't you want to join me? Kneel before your Dairy Queen. The soft serve is my flesh, and soon you will all be part of my kingdom.
Happy tastes good.
I, like many of you, have a ton of videos that pop up across my FYP on the daily. But just recently, I had one pop up that took me to that side of TikTok. What I'm talking about? I went down that rabbit hole on that side of TikTok, and what I saw was just incredible. There is an account on TikTok called Crime Scene Cleanup. They also have an Instagram, a YouTube, and other accounts. They post and share their videos of the jobs that they get called to. And that includes showing you blood, some decomposing bodies, and all types of anything they come across. When you head to their website, that is the caption. We clean up life's accidents. The video in question that popped up on my FYP and just blew my mind came right off of their TikTok account, Crime Scene Cleanup. In the video, they show you this hot tub. And they go on to explain in the caption that the person that passed away in this hot tub cooked like if they were in a crock pot. Here is the caption that's on their TikTok. Hot tubs are crock pots for humans. This person was found deceased after 3 days in this hot tub. We had to extract all of the water, including skin and hair. Our Daytona Beach location did a great job. After seeing that video, I went down that rabbit hole and started looking at all of their videos. It is incredible and unbelievable and something that we would never think about. Who cleans up a mess like that? They do. They're even taking applications if you want to work with them. All I could say is I give them a lot of kudos for what they do and what they deal with. They do basically the job that no one would ever want to do. There is some crazy stuff on the internet. That is their TikTok account. If you do get a second, go and check them out. I'm not going to play the video on here because, like I said, I don't need to get, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Shout outs to Crime Scene Cleaning. Shout outs to the Joe69. Bro, my man said they cook like a crock pot. Bro, you gotta have some serious guts to clean up something like that. That is that other side of TikTok. Yeah, I don't got the guts. Tell me, are you able to work a job like this? Are there any of you that do? Let me know in the comments down below. Shout outs to you.
What the heck is in the water in Hollywood, you guys? Yesterday I'm scrolling social media and I see that it's trending that Angelina Jolie is sporting a new blonde bob for her movie, Anxious People. And I'm looking at these photos and first of all, she's extremely pale and I'm like, maybe this is a horror movie or something like that because she has always had olive skin. None of you remember what Angelina Jolie used to look like. What's happening? And then I notice her hands and I'm like, somebody needs to check her pulse immediately. What are those? What is going on? What is going on with some of these celebrities' hands in Hollywood? Angelina Jolie is just 50 years old. Meanwhile, Martha Stewart is 84 years old and just recently posted this picture to her IG account promoting her new skincare line. What is going on? How is this possible? She looks just as young, if not younger, than she did in the 1990s, early 2000s era. 84 years old. 84! Meanwhile, Angelina Jolie is only 50 years old. She is 34 years younger than Martha Stewart. And she is going from this to this. I find it really concerning, to be honest with you, because that is the hand of someone much, much older than 50. Why are some celebrities like Angelina Jolie, Miley Cyrus, Ariana Grande, Jenna Ortega wasting away looking decades older than they are? While other celebrities like Kris Jenner, Christina Aguilera, Kelly Osbourne are all aging in reverse. What is going on in Hollywood?
Yo, like, what happened to Tomb Raider? She out here looking crazy. She looking like she gonna be in a sequel to Wicked. It's like her hands. It's like her fingers don't bend at the knuckles or something. Very weird. Shout outs to A Truth for You.
There is a contagious parasitic virus epidemic afflicting humanity, and most of us are completely unaware of it. In Everything You Need to Know, David Icke cites Gnostic texts describing this affliction as a distorted state of awareness, a quote, counterfeit spirit that dominates the modern psyche. It manifests through the overuse of the left brain, which emphasizes linear, logical, and detail-obsessed thinking, cutting us off from intuitive and holistic perception. This isn't a new idea. In the Native American tradition, a similar concept is known as Wetiko, a parasitic mind virus that arises when a person becomes disconnected from the whole, from nature, and from spirit. Psychologist Julian Jaynes, in The Origin of Consciousness, also spoke of a similar shift, noting that ancient humans once operated with a quote, bicameral mind, in which the right hemisphere spoke to the left in the form of auditory hallucinations, which were perceived as the voices of gods or ancestors. These inner commands were obeyed as divine instruction. Over time, these voices faded, giving rise to the dominance of the left hemisphere, the modern intellectual ego-based mind. Icke calls this the emergence of the quote, fallen Saturn psyche, which began around 6,000 years ago, and is also associated with the formation of rings around Saturn and the appearance of our moon. This new mindset brought with it conformity, conflict, control, and judgment, traits astrologically associated with Saturn, a planet revered in occult traditions by Satanists or Saturnists. The rise of this distorted psyche is deeply tied to ancient accounts of serpent beings and hybrids who allegedly manipulated early human civilization. Icke identifies these entities as archontic reptilians, equated with the Gnostic archons, the Zulu Chitauri or quote, children of the serpent, and the Sumerian Anunnaki. These beings allegedly interfered with human genetics to make us easier to control. Reverend John Bathurst Dean, in Worship of the Serpent, also documents widespread serpent worship across ancient cultures, suggesting that these beings had immense impact on the growth of early human civilization, and thus the human psyche. Perhaps this is what was referred to in Revelation 12:9, which stated that Satan had deceived the whole world. This quote, new psyche appeared to have spread from the Middle East and Central Asia through violent invasions by Indo-European and Semitic tribes. Its roots trace back even further to ancient Sumer and Egypt, and possibly to the lost world of Eden, where Zulu shaman Credo Mutwa claims the most intense genetic tampering of humanity occurred. Follow me for more hidden knowledge.
Shout out to the esoteric nomad dropping gems. Yeah, David Icke is a legend. I guess he was one of the first ones talking about these Anunnakis, the Sumerian text and all of that. The subjects that we hear Billy Carson talking about. I definitely see where the esoteric nomad is coming from.
The connections will start to be made between artificial intelligence and the human brain. We've been through a process of preparation, of getting people, first of all, stage one, addicted to technology that they hold. And they're targeting specifically the young, because the young of today are going to be the adults when they want to bring this AI connection in full blown. For that to happen, they have to get people addicted to technology to the point where they'll accept it and where it's the most natural thing in the world. So the next stage, because the idea is to get in the body, the next stage is to get on the body. Holdables, we went to wearables, we went to Bluetooth, Google Glass and Apple Watches. And the next stage is to go in the body, which is already starting in places like Sweden. People in Sweden now are having parties to celebrate someone being microchipped. Sales pitch is, when we connect to artificial intelligence, we'll be superhuman intelligent. No, you'll become subhuman intelligent. You'll become a vehicle for artificial intelligence, a psychological process, which is known as preemptive programming. You're going to usher in a world that is so different, so dramatically different, resistant, that says, hold on a minute, you want to do what? So you prepare them for it through preemptive program. You put out a stream of movies out of elite-controlled Hollywood. You put out television programs, you put out books, you put out all these things that basically portray the world you want to take people into. So when you literally start to bring it in, there is almost a familiarity with it because you prepared people by portraying it over and over again. This is a whole psychological process, familiarizing us with artificial intelligence, getting people to interact with it until it becomes the most natural thing in the world. By 2030, the connections will start to be made. Human brain will be connected to what he calls the cloud. Artificial intelligence will be more and more of human thinking until basically it's the totality of human thinking, at which point we won't be human anymore in terms of the consciousness processes we are using today. We will be artificial intelligence.
You die, everyone dies. I'm saying that creating a perfect safety for superintelligence, perpetual safety as it keeps improving, modifying, interacting with people, you're never going to get there. It's impossible.
It's strange to even bother if there was even a 1% chance of human extinction. If someone told me there was a 1% chance that if I got in a car, I might not be alive, I would not get in the car. If you told me there was a 1% chance that if I drank whatever liquid is in this cup right now, I might die, I would not drink the liquid. Even if there was $1 billion if I survived, so the 99% chances I get $1 billion, the 1% is I die, I wouldn't drink it. I wouldn't take the chance.
It's worse than that. Not just you die, everyone dies. That's for us to decide. You don't get to make that choice for us. To get consent from human subjects, you need them to comprehend what they are consenting to. If those systems are unexplainable, unpredictable, how can they consent? It's impossible to get consent by definition. So this experiment can never be run ethically. By definition, they are doing unethical experimentation on human subjects.
Makes you feel like AI has its own end game. For it to know so much, but yet things be explainable, as well as being unpredictable. It's a creepy thought. Shout outs to the Diary of a CEO and Dr. Roman. So pretty much I guess what he's saying is that there's a small chance we'll make it through.
Did you know that as of September 1st, Microsoft is going to be saving your data to their cloud servers by default, without allowing you the chance to give it permission? How many times do we gotta teach you this lesson, old man? I love the young people. I'm gonna get into the news, but first make sure that you share this with everybody that uses the Windows operating system. Follow me for everything tech related. I will be releasing a video tutorial on how to remove this feature. This, of course, comes on the heels of Windows Recall, the controversial feature that screenshots every ounce of all of your data in your computer that they are slowly rolling out in case you forget anything. It's a precursor. The more that they can just shove into your operating system without you making a fuss about it, easier it is for them to get what they want. Windows, as of September 1st, announced that Microsoft Word will be saving Word documents to OneDrive by default. So your autosave and your contingency saves will be OneDrive by default without asking you if you'd like to save it there. This, of course, is just the start of what Windows is trying to do, which is get you to be forced into their ecosystem so that they can monitor and sell your data long term and continue to store it on their server. Remember, if your data is valuable, why can't you sell it? Delete OneDrive immediately.
I remember when you would have to buy a subscription to access all of that. Your OneDrive, all of that, the cloud. Shout out to Ponzi PCS. Now they just taking it. He's right. Why can't you sell it?
Chester Bennington, Chris Cornell, and Anthony Bourdain, because they were about to expose everything. All four of them were working on a documentary called The Silent Children, an expose on trafficking and the elites behind it. Too powerful, too dangerous. And then all four suddenly died. Chris Cornell found hanging in a Detroit hotel. Chester Bennington, gone 2 months later. Anthony Bourdain died in France, and Avicii in Oman. Police ruled no foul play, but it wasn't a suicide. It was murder. They knew too much. They were ready to expose Hollywood's darkest secret through their documentary. But instead, the project vanished, and so did the people working on it. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a message. Share this video to your friends before it disappears, just like the truth.
Parasitic infection called Chagas disease has made its way to the United States and is now considered to be hypoendemic according to experts at the CDC. What this means is that there's low sustained transmission and we need to help raise awareness about this infectious disease. According to a recently published article by the CDC, Chagas disease has been reported in humans in 8 states, including California and Texas, and 32 states now contain the kissing bug, which transmits the parasite Trypanosoma cruzi, which causes Chagas disease. There are various modes of transmission of Chagas disease, but it starts with infected fecal matter from the kissing bug, and then that material could come into contact with broken skin, or you touch your mouth or eyes. It could also pass through blood or from mom to baby congenitally. There are 3 phases to this illness. The first is the acute phase that lasts for about 4 to 8 weeks, where people have a fever, headache, fatigue, malaise, and they could be having swelling at the site of the bite called a chagoma, or if the parasite enters the eye, you can get swelling that's called Romagna sign. If left untreated, it could enter a latent phase where you don't really have any symptoms for years or potentially decades. And then it ends up in this chronic phase potentially where you could develop potentially a fatal heart arrhythmia or severe gastrointestinal complications. Chagas disease is treatable if you identify it and treat it with anti-parasitic medications early on, which is why CDC scientists urge that the general public understands that this is a possibility so that healthcare workers in this country know about it and can potentially test and treat that, as we are now potentially entering an endemic phase. So please share this information widely so that people are aware about Chagas disease.
Shout outs to Ruben Allergy, talking about the Chagas. Bro, 8 weeks with fever and an eye looking like that, yeah, you gotta know something's wrong. Because more than ever, make sure you wash your hands.
September 9th in 2025, which is a 9-year, is the 999 completion code. Now, when you look at the day September 9th of 2025, it's basically the epitome of a cosmic omen that's supercharged by our blood moon eclipse 2 days before on September 7th. So this is the blueprint for karmic retribution. Because when you get into the esoterics of numerology, the 9 is also associated with Mars, which is basically the epitome of transformation, spiritual transformation, and war. Now, when you get into the quantum mechanics of numerology, you will know that numbers are portals. And the last time we was in a 9-year was in 2016, when you had the outbreak of the Zika virus. Donald Trump was elected in 2016. And that's also during the time when you had the 7.8 magnitude earthquake in Ecuador. So you got to understand something. The number 9 is a representation of completion, the completion of a certain cycle that was stuck in a fixed position reality. And now we're breaking out of that cycle right now by way of the numerology that's connected to all these dates. See, the number 9 is a prophetic portal of completion that works in synergy with eschatology, which is the science of the end times that's extrapolated by numerology, that's connected to data, because data denotes the fact that everything operates on a cycle that's connected to our reality. So with that being said, I'm not saying something's going to happen, but you have to pay attention to the signs, the symbols, and the numbers.
Shoot, when the numbers align like that, right after a blood moon, yeah, you gotta pay attention. Shout outs to BDell1014. Been doing his thing lately, talking that ish, for sure.
What? Speaker of the House Mike Johnson just said that Donald Trump doesn't think that what Epstein did to these girls is a hoax. He would never do that because Donald Trump was an FBI informant tasked with taking Jeffrey Epstein down. Watch this.
I'm not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
This information is going to rock the world, and people are going to demand more details after this statement. Yes, it could explain why the two had a close relationship, but first and foremost, is anyone even going to believe it? Or is this just another way to distract from getting the information that the public and the victims deserve? As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
They saying that he got some paperwork out there. Shout outs to the WFF News. So what did he do? Did he flip? Is he a snitch? It's a big thing to say out in public in front of reporters. Or is he just saying that just to get them off his back? I think it's just a funny thought that back in the day the president wore a wire.
Where the hell did you find that thing? The fuck, man? Why don't you bring home rats instead?
Story about a strange creature sighting in Utah, of all places. This came from a man named Aaron who said about 10 years ago he was dating this girl, and one night they decided that they were going to go explore some abandoned Tintic mines. He said, I don't know what Tintic is, but this was in Santaquin in Utah, and this girl he was dating lived on the other side of the lake, and they were driving around the lake headed back to his house when she's like, why don't we just go check out these mines? I heard they're really cool. There's this cave system underground. And he's like, cool. He said he was originally from Idaho, so exploring the outdoors was nothing new to him. He was down. She puts in the location. They're driving toward the mine, and he said that she was describing it as basically this giant concrete opening with caves that go back, and then it just drops down into the mine. So he pulls off the main road onto this dark road, and he actually turned the brights on in his truck because he was like, it was so dark I couldn't see where I was going. That it was like a dirt paved road that switched back 1 or 2 times before you get to the parking area. So as he's getting up to this clearing, his lights shine down on something on the road, and it's a deer, and it's completely white, like it was completely drained of blood. They're like, what the? And then he said he saw this small creature behind it, like kind of leaning over the neck, and it was probably raccoon size or like a cat. That surrounding this parking area was like a bunch of rocks that were about 3 feet high, and he said this was probably just to mark the parking area. But as soon as the lights from his brights hit this creature, it runs off and hides behind one of the big rocks marking the parking area. They're both looking at each other like, what was that? Because he said that the way it moved was not like a raccoon or any cat he had ever seen. So they're kind of just sitting in the truck, like with their lights shining on this rock that this thing ran behind, and they see it peek its head around. And they couldn't really make out any of its features, but the eyes were glowing, so they knew it was there. And then it reached an arm around and then ran across the parking lot in front of them. And he said the way that it moved was all wrong. It was alternating between 2 legs and 4 legs, the way that a monkey would move, but its face looked like a shorter dog snout. He said when it ran, the back wasn't arched forward like a normal animal, it was arched backward. And if I had to describe the fur, it would be like a dog with mange, but it definitely wasn't a dog. Like the extremities were very long, like a monkey, but it wasn't a monkey. This thing runs behind another rock. They both scream. He backs out. He drops her off. And then he said he couldn't sleep that night because he had to figure out what he saw. But he's still freaked out by the encounter. He still doesn't know what he saw, but he did send me a picture of like the closest thing. So I'm going to show you guys. So here's your warning. This is what he sent me, but he said that the difference is that the face was covered in like mangy fur. It wasn't skeletal like in this photo. Also said that it had like more of like hands, not claws. Probably won't comment on this because he said his wife still rolls her eyes when she hears him tell this story, but let him know if you have any thoughts on what this was. I'm intrigued. I like the weird stories.
The fact that they would go to the cave at night is insane. I know a lot of people do, but man, shout out to Ashley INC. It's a great story, pretty creepy. Maybe it was a skinwalker.
Welcome to Domino's. You thought I was gone for good? Well, you thought wrong. You know what the D in Domino stands for? Dirty. I heard that's how you guys like it. You think this dough is made fresh? We get it delivered in trays on trucks from far away. Don't worry, the rats only get in the top tray. Would you just look at this? $7 and you'll be shitting your pants like a baby. Too lazy to get off your ass and come get it? We got delivery drivers for that. Better tip good, or you'll get the Fermunda cheese special. Oh, and don't you worry. If the delivery's late, you'll still get diarrhea right on time. You thought you could escape me. No one escapes the Noid. Hungry for more?
This is for cold water pressure in the kitchen. This is where I fill up water for storage. Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the toilets.
So you can see the sediment from the data center. Wow, and that's just from the water coming out of your faucet.
Yeah, and this is what's in all pipes. It's overwhelming because you really feel like you are up against this huge wall that you can't penetrate. There's nothing that you can do, and they don't care.
I'm here in Mansfield, Georgia, driving by Meta's new 2 million square foot data center facility.
Facilities like this are being used to power things like ChatGPT and other AI tools that are becoming integrated into our daily life.
Data centers, it's going to be a very hot item.
This entire supercomputer is built to power Grok.
We see data centers as the most exciting asset class.
Meta is building a 2 gigawatt plus data center that is so large it would cover a significant part of Manhattan.
But data centers come with big costs. From light and noise pollution to the environmental impacts to the potential rising costs of energy bills, these facilities put extraordinary demand on the power grid and require entirely new infrastructure.
Oh my God.
They should be responsible for that, not us.
Search the internet for profits that Meta has made, Amazon, Microsoft. They can afford to pay for their own generation.
Your house is here, and the data center is right there.
It's less than 400 yards.
Beverly and Jeff Morris bought their home an hour's drive from downtown Atlanta in 2016, but their roots in the community run much deeper.
Being in the country has always just been my peace and my therapy. When we found this place, we decided that this was it. It was perfect.
I was actually raised probably 5 miles from here. Felt like coming home.
The data center that's now the Morris' next door neighbor happens to be owned by Meta, the company you know for Facebook and Instagram, but has also been breaking into artificial intelligence. They started construction on this data center campus in 2018.
Definitely changed everything. They destroyed the environment, taken down all the trees across the road.
Beautiful pines, beautiful forest.
The light pollution is...
We don't have to have a night light in the house. You can walk around the house at night and see everything. It's that bright.
Yo, my house is lit up like that at night. Yeah, I'm leaving. I would sell. Absolutely. I would shoot. I'll sell it to them. Like, here's another piece you can have. You know, find another ranch. I wouldn't go through this nightmare. Shout out to Perfect Union.
The new goal is to cause an individual to become subservient to an imposed control, to the point where he will perform acts against his will, and then have no memory of the act. The search for a real-life Manchurian candidate begins. In the Hollywood classic directed by John Frankenheimer, a hypnotized soldier is programmed to assassinate a presidential candidate. Like a clip from the movie, the CIA attempts to create its own Manchurian assassins using hypnosis and drugs.
You create this new identity inside that's hidden from the main part of the person by an amnesia barrier. And then using an access code, you can call out this new identity for whatever mission purpose.
To produce such an assassin, the CIA faces two main challenges: how to induce amnesia and how to program in new behavior. In 1957, Dr. Ewan Cameron, an eminent psychiatrist in Montreal, believes he has the answers.
The agency sought him out because they had noticed his work, in particular with two techniques: intensive electroshock and what he called psychic driving.
Cameron applies his techniques under the guise of normal therapy.
It's hard to say just how awful and horrendous what Cameron proposed and what our government financed was. There's a three-part technique which started with an effort to wipe out past patterns of behavior. And this was accomplished through the use of particularly intensive, repeated, high-level electroshocks until no more convulsions could be elicited from a patient.
Cameron then plays tape-recorded messages through helmets that are locked to his patients' heads.
That sounds like straight torture. The original Project BB. Shout out to the Decoded Files. Yo, it's crazy. Kind of reminds me of Clockwork Orange, directed by Stanley Kubrick. You never seen it, I suggest you go take a look. The crazy part about all of this is that this isn't science fiction. It's actually documented history.
I perpetrated a huge fraud, which I am now about to detail.
Okay.
Involving the United States government and NASA.
All right.
And I'm sure you've heard the rumors.
The moon landing?
That's right. That the moon landing was fake. The moon landings all were fake. And I was the person who filmed it.
But why did they have to fake it? Why?
Because it is impossible to get to the moon.
The government said we'll kill you if you say anything. I mean, that's a standard top secret sort of penalty.
It's understood, even if it's not said.
Right, but they did say it to you, I presume.
This is one of the oldest ship replicas they have left in existence. It's not the original ship, it's just a replica. This is another sail ship, a sail ship. It sails with the wind. So does this one. So does this one. Now you gotta ask yourself a question. Do you think for 2 seconds we had airships that ran on ether, that we can cross vast distances and oceans with, but we were sitting around waiting for the trade winds so that we can travel on water? Think about that for a second. The trade winds go from here to here, literally here to here. That is the only favorable, that's the only, think about it. You have a sail ship, and the only thing you can do is hope that the wind takes you this way. Not only that, look at how you have to travel in your sail ship. This is how you got to move against the wind. If the wind changes direction, this is how you got to move. Zigzagging on the ocean, like going this way, going that way, going this way. Does that even sound close to efficient? And just like I said, look, tack. The most common route is the east to west, Africa, then down the Caribbean. Follows the trade winds because it's favorable, right? If they're not, and they're trying to go against the wind, they have to use a special technique as like the wind's blowing to go. You're not even going straight. You're damn near going sideways. A successful crossing requires thorough planning, including carrying necessary supplies, spare parts, and navigation equipment. That's what they were putting on there during the slave ship. When they were doing the slave trade, they were making sure they had all this equipment, necessary, thorough planning for a 3-month trip. Oh, I got their ass now. Pay attention. Now, y'all remember when I showed y'all this, right? I don't know if y'all picked up on this part, but these radio waves at the top, the electromagnetic frequency that's powering that airship, that is coming from this light tower right here, because y'all kept on thinking these lighthouses was for, no. This was a beam. This is what the lighthouses were for, okay? Stay with me. What do we got over there? Let's zoom in. Ocean ship receiving radio power for propulsion. Oh shit. The goddamn ship is receiving power from the ether? From the sky? For propulsion? No. But what do we have here? This is ether technology. Look at the ball on the top. Look at the chains. Oh, let's keep cooking. Isn't this interesting? Where are the sails? There's no sails. Why? It is running on ether. It is tethered to the atmosphere. Y'all see any sails? No, you don't. What do you see? You see these balls up here. Don't you worry. I'm going to tell you exactly what those balls do. No diddy. Sailless boats. Look awfully cold, don't they? Freezing. Look at the lattice. Bulbs at the top. Galleys and schooners are different types of sailing vessels, each with distinct features. Galleys are characterized by their sails, oars, and electromagnetic mass. Schooners took this to a new level using multiple high masts to benefit from this etheric power. No, God damn it, you really think, come on, man. Think now, think we got airships? You think I'm hopping on the ship and I'm waiting for the winds to take me somewhere? I ain't got time for that shit. I ain't got time for it. But what I do have time to do is tether myself to the etheric power of the Earth's electromagnetic field. Take all the time you need. Wow. Where's the sails? There's no sails on this ship, huh? Interesting. Take a look. Listen, I ain't make this up, okay? It's all there. Look. Do you see any sails here? You don't see any sails. Take a look. Ether harnessing device. Tartarian sailboats. If you even want to call them sailboats, they're more like Tartarian electromagnetic ships. Look at this picture. Bartholomew's airship. Same balls on there. Flying. That's why I did that opening. Because they always fucking show you. Because they have to. There it is again. Look at the bottom here. Feathers. And understand something. When you tether feathers to something, you are tapping into the air element. That's exactly what they're doing with this ship. This ship right here is not in water. This is in the air. Now let's just read this. He placed lodestones, magnetite, in the balls. That's what's inside the balls of the ship. So what are the globes of heaven and earth, containing in them attractive virtues. They are of metal and serve for a cover to 2 lodestones placed in them upon the pedestals to draw the ship after them, the body of which is of thin iron plates covered with straw mats for convenience of 10 or 11 men besides the artists, a cover made of iron wire in form. All the rest of that stuff, I don't know what that means, but for here, cover to 2 lodestones. On a molecular structure level, magnetite is microscopically a 52-degree pyramid, the exact mid fraction of 76.345. That right there. That's why they put magnetite in the balls, because it resonates with the ether perfectly in a pyramidal structure. When Voodoo Chief did this video, I noticed something about this ship. It's the same as the other ships. There's supposed to be balls on the top of here. They removed the balls and replaced it with this smokestack. The same way they took off all the top of the copper and took all the ether antennas off the building. They took the ether and the magnetite loads off of this ship. It's an Imperial ether electromagnetic ship. See? Lodestone, a piece of magnetite or other naturally magnetized mineral able to be used as a magnet. A thing that is the focus of attention or attraction. This is what they put inside of the ball at the top to tether it to the ether. This is a psychological ploy on the lodestone ball, which y'all don't even realize ties directly into the New Year's Eve ball. See, what they did was they told you there was some made up shit about New Year's and this, that, and the third, and yada, yada, yada. What you don't understand is this ball dropping, your ball dropping on New Year's Eve. Oh, the ball is dropping. That is them pulling the ball down and never revealing it to you ever again, so that you don't know that these ships are running off a radio transmission. This is a symbol of the huge lodestone with the magnetite inside of it. The iron ball that's on top of the ship that's tethered to the ether. This is their little joke, their little clown letting you know, yeah, the Empire has fallen, dropped the ball. We're going to enjoy that every year. Every year they drop it. As a reminder. Fuck y'all and y'all empire. How were they doing it? I just fucking told you. But when the mind's blind, the eyes can't see.
I definitely got to get my hands on some magnetite and some lodestones. Shout outs to Damian Michaels, aka Piper Miller, with this top-notch research. 333 years later, they find that ship intact, but they can't get the Titanic. This video is very enlightening.
Welcome to McDonald's. I knew you'd be back for more. I've got a magic secret that keeps my loyal customers coming back every day. Me and the squad are cooking up that sickness for everyone, and they fucking love it. I have some special ingredients that nobody knows what it is. Funny thing is, they don't even care. They just keep coming back day after day. So come by and see me and my friends. You know you want some. Stop fighting the urge. I'm loving it.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the rabbit hole. Before we go, want to give a shout out to the reactor, Queen Serenity, and wish her a happy belated birthday. Happy birthday, Queen Serenity. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. I wish you many more. Peace and blessings. And we want to give another big shout out to our newest reactor, Aries Moon Music. Shout outs to you, Aries Moon Music. Thank you so much for your support. Welcome to the fam. Peace and blessings. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Shout outs to all the reactors. Thanks again. Till next time.